We're answering questions.
You're answering questions? Wait a minute.
Under
Wait a
our
minute.
door.
Come back. You're answering questions. Come over
It's
here.
on the window you went.
Okay. So we can ask a socialist or feminist or felon. Is that right?
Correct. Now he's gotten married and he's got a house now, so he would have to break in. But no one, he didn't have a weapon.
So you were talking to the socialist. What did you think? Was it useful?
Yeah, I thought he was great. He does Cop Watch, which I used to be active in Portland.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Cop Watch. So I was fascinated by his interpretation of that, and I asked him what inspired him, and he said Malcolm X. He's got it.
What would sex be like in a socialist or a communist society, you know?
That would be different.
Yeah, but I mean, because like you think about all the adverts we have right now, right? That sort of tell us like what it is to be, or influence our ideas about what it is to be attractive, you know? And there's a huge amount of profit motive, right? Because it's like they want to make things that make them a lot of money look attractive, right? So that's kind of an interesting. It's almost really hard to like imagine what it would be like, you know, if instead of say a lot of the space that we see was bought up by corporations, instead if like just everyday people were able to use that space to put up art or interesting ideas, or you know. And I think there's also this way in which a society based on like property with private property, it changes how people think about sex. I mean, like sex in like societies without relations to private property is very different. Like I think it might be kind of liberating, you know. I think this sort of private property influences the way we think about partners and things like that.
Why are you so angry? Oh, yeah. there was that one, which was interesting. That's a woman asked me that to my face.
Are you
No, I think you just said saying black women in general, there's a stereotype that we're really angry, just loud, and obnoxious all the time. So I think he was probably basing it on that more than anything.
Did it make you angry?
It didn't. I'm glad that he asked, so I can say that, you know what, actually it's just a stereotype, and we're not all angry. So I'm glad that I got to say that to him, so that there was one less person that thought that we were just all naturally angry.
Well, that's really interesting thing to learn.
Yeah. What's your name?
I'm Sarah.
Sarah, I'm Allison.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How do you feel about representing artists right now? Do you feel like you're an authority on being an artist?
No, not at all. I think I'm constantly learning.
Yeah.
I think I'm only 21, and I have the obligation to learn from every other artist, whether I think they are working at a caliber that I should aspire to be at or not. Because every person has a light that I can draw from, and if I don't draw from it, then I've only crippled myself.
How long have you been an artist?
Since I was 14, about 7 years.
Okay.
But I think every artist I think everyone's an artist.
Okay.
And I think it's the moment when you realize you are.
Yeah.
And I think I realized I was when I was 14.
Do you think you can be an artist even if you haven't made art in like 20 years? You haven't done anything that you consider to be artistic? Can you still say I'm an artist?
I think so, and here's why. My first interim into art was fiction writing and poetry. And I had a Roger Bonaire Agard, a very great poet, tell me that your life is the poem. And so just because you're not creating, just because you're not putting out a ton of poems,
Yeah.
doesn't mean that you're not writing poems. You write poems every day in the way you live.
What do you think about the three strikes?
3 strikes.
You know, I was in San Quentin myself.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that? You know, the death penalty.
Death penalty. It's tricky because the offenses, usually they came up with it because the offenses that people were committing were so severe they decided to do it. But then you're just kind of, it's the same thing to punish them.
So they surveyed him, and I guess 15% of them,
Of the people
of the condemned inmates on the East Block in San Quentin, said that they would rather go ahead and go through, or rather 85% of them said they would rather go ahead and go through with the death penalty and take the crime. 50% said no.
Death row is just horrible. They don't have the same privileges. But if they have life, I think they get, I can't remember, I read about it in the Title 15 a long time ago. I think it's more packages and things like that. I think you can get visits, conjugal visits. Death row, you can't get any of that stuff.
Special razors,
Yeah.
and you get
So
your
they would
trade.
probably like to be able to get those things if they're just going to grow old and die like the life ones.
Right.
And I don't think, I mean, if they have people that want to be in contact with them even though they're on death row, I would say that's on them. I mean, if they want to be in contact with a person, I don't have a problem with it. So they should have privileges. There are.
Are you still on paperwork?
I am.
You still on paperwork? How many?
I was given non-revocable parole and they realized I wasn't eligible 7 months later and they put me on paperwork. I got until 2014 in March.
I wish you the best of luck, man. From one parole to another, man. I did it, man. I got my discharge card. I kept it in my wallet for 2 years. You know, it was like, you know, it was a blessing, you know.
Exactly.
And life goes on, man. And one more thing, I don't mean to hold the line, but how has it been for you getting a job out here?
I got a job 4 months after I paroled, actually. I signed up with a temp agency. It's kind of backbreaking, but I'm just saving up money for the next step. Exactly.
I can already tell that you want, man.
Thank you.
God bless
All right.
you, brother.
Good night.
Take care, man. True.
That are like, ask a Catholic, ask a felon, ask a socialist, ask a felon. And he was speaking to the socialist, and
it was fun. It was kind of like what I kind of imagined this project being. It's like
when I'm not looking.
random arguments with people. So how often do you get to do that in like a safe, environment? Like people feel inhibited about that. Me, not always, but most of the time.
If
So
they find heroin or a cell phone, they're
What
What question do you wish people were asking?
So it's generally
well, I had somebody ask,
don't break them.
actually ask that question, and I said that I wish people would ask more about like what's my utopian vision, because like it's kind of like actually a no-no for socialists to talk about like utopia. Like it's kind of like you're supposed to say concrete and like real things, because people already think you're nutty enough as it is. But I actually like that aspect of it too. I think it's important to have like a larger vision, even if you kind of acknowledge like there's nothing, you can't really plan for the future, especially if you want like a democratic future. It's going to be up to people at that time to decide things. You can't like come up with dictates from the past to tell them what to do. So, but I do like talking about that, like what the possibilities are in life, how things right now could be different. And so a couple people have asked that.
If you're just going in.
Do you have questions? I got answers.